Hi, it's Megan. Welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be sharing with you the reorganization of my pantry. It was a total disaster, so let's take a look at that. So here is my pantry. A little before. We have a ton of stuff on the floor that shouldn't be there. And then this is the shelf that I really want to reorganize and get some of my canning supplies on here, and some of like my food storage from canning down here on these shelves. Again, super disorganized. Over here is all my pasta. Have a bunch of cans here that I need to better organize and take inventory of. Over here isn't too bad. Mostly just inventorying and making sure things are where they're supposed to be. Up here is probably not going to change too much just because my spices are usually fine. I do have my spice rack organizer thing over here, and I do have some bulk spices that I got from Winco that I do need to refill quite a bit of these with, so I'll do that in this video as well. My canisters are pretty good. I just need to like clean off that shelf. This back corner is very messy. It has like baking supplies, peanut butters, other baking stuff, and it got like destroyed during the holidays. Over here, I have some like baby stuff that I need to get rid of because Isla doesn't need that anymore. This, I need to make a new batch of this mix. I don't know why it's sitting right here, but that's not where it goes. This garlic doesn't belong there. Cereal doesn't belong there. I need to restock some of my canned goods. So I have peaches, applesauce, and then back behind this white basket, I have pears. More cereal up here. Random bags of crackers, they don't go there. This whole snack shelf is a situation. I need to decant a lot of the snacks, get them in the right containers, and then organize like my back stock that goes behind my nice containers in the front. Over here, I'm going to reevaluate this. It's working okay now, but it's hard to know like my inventory, how much is in there. So I might rework that. I might keep it the same. I'll have to see. Over here, this is where I put all of my bulk spices, so I need to decant those into my jars. And then I just need to reorganize like my sauces and oils, just make sure, tidy them up, and make sure things are with the right kinds of things. And then up at the top, I have some canning supplies, which are probably fine. I have a treat bin. This is usually empty, but it's full of random stuff, so I need to go through that. Behind those things is where I keep like baby eating stuff, and since Isla doesn't need baby things anymore, so that's where I keep like bottles or baby spoons, those kinds of things. So those are behind there, and I definitely need to go through that, get rid of things that I don't need or don't want to keep for future kids, and then put all the other baby stuff in the same container. I have random oyster crackers up there. Syrup usually stays up there. Back up shelf stable milk. And then I have mixing bowls. Behind that, I have a beverage container, which are usually fine just to stay up there. So here is my pantry, and I'll show you kind of as I'm working on it and some afters. Okay, so here I am. I was in desperate need of needing to refill a lot of my containers. So the first thing I did was pull out just a bunch of the containers that I knew I needed to fill and a bunch of my back stock to make sure that I could fill them up. So I just put all those on the counter and then started slowly refilling them. With my brown rice, you can see I have those in smaller bags, and I just keep those 5-pound bags inside of a big 5-gallon bucket. I found that I don't go through rice fast enough to buy the big like 25-pound packages. And so it just saves, even though it's not as cost effective, it still is a very cost effective way to have rice and to have it not go bad. And then right here, I'm just opening up a container of raisins. I just like keeping them in this clear container, so I always know kind of how much we have left, because my girls really like those for snacks. And then I'm filling up my cocoa powder. Again, I like using the clear containers because then I know kind of how much I have left. And this big container from Costco doesn't quite fill up that little container all the way, but it fills up enough of it. And then if I get low, I can refill with the rest of what I have left in the original container. And then that'll give me a cue to go purchase another big container to have in my background. And there goes Isla. And here I'm just refilling my oats canister that I use. I have these big 3-gallon ice cream buckets that I got from our local college creamery that I have oats in, and then I also have a 5-gallon bucket that's filled with oats. I was completely out of Bisquick, so I refilled that. I had a little bit left in the package, so I'm just going to keep that empty package on top of my Bisquick container. So that way I remember to use that empty package first and then start going into the canister, just because there's not that much. You can see over here on the left-hand side of the screen, this little like terracotta circle that I put in the brown sugar. That, if you soak it and get it wet and keep it in your brown sugar, it helps keep your brown sugar soft. I live in Utah, which is a super, super dry state, and my brown sugar would always get super hard. I tried using bread. I tried using marshmallows. Both of those worked okay, but I found that terracotta disc, it has worked the best. They also, I've seen little like bears, but if you just search like brown sugar keeper, or brown sugar disc or something like that on Amazon, those little terracotta discs or bears or whatever will come up, and you can just soak those and then keep them in your brown sugar, and that really helps. So here we are into the actual pantry reorganization. I'm going through checking dates on things. I had an unopened package of shortening that I hadn't used yet, so I was just checking the date to make sure that it was still okay, but it is getting very close to the expiration date. So I do need to make sure that I am using that soon. And yeah, just kind of reorganizing things, putting things back where they go, checking dates on things. Right here, I'm reorganizing some of the canned goods that I have. I canned some salsa verde that I was putting over there, and then I have some jalapeno jelly that my great aunt made and some home canned peppers. Just again, checking the dates, checking the seals on those, making sure everything is still good. Reorganizing my back stock of sauces, and again, just wiping down the shelves, which I hadn't done in a while, and then reorganizing some of the snacks. I'm taking out that big snack container. And like I mentioned in the intro, it wasn't working quite as well. Look, there's little Isla trying to help me, mostly just asking for snacks. It was nice to have the snacks organized, but it was so tall and the containers were so deep that it was hard to actually see like my stock of them. So I just switched and put all of these little like prepackaged snacks into this one white basket, and that's easier for me to pull down, check the status of things, and also kind of mixes up the variety so we're not always just grabbing the same things. Here I am kind of in that same shelf, just on the opposite side. I'm working on that black basket that I pulled out is all drinks. So I'm just going through making sure that nothing has expired, that everything is still in date and okay. We like having those packets of hot chocolate when we go camping, so I just kind of keep those in there unless we're going camping, and then we use those big containers. I decant some into mason jars that I keep out on my counter this time of year just because we go through it a lot. And then I also had some True Lemon boxes. Most of my drink mixes right now my little container for them is full. And so once that kind of goes down, then I will restock with those little boxes that I currently have. Here, I'm just pulling out all the snacks, taking inventory of what we have, what we need to stock up on a little bit. Also kind of starting to work over in my breakfast section. I found that I really like having zones in my pantry to kind of keep like things together, and that also kind of helps keep me organized and know what I might need more of. So like my cereal section is completely stocked. Next to my cereal, I have other breakfast things like oatmeal, instant breakfasts, steel cut oats, those kinds of things. And it's nice to kind of keep all those breakfast things in one area. So that way when it is breakfast time too, I have a specific area that I can go to and give options for my girls for their breakfasts. I'm also moving down some of the shelf stable milk. I had a little hole, and those shelf stable milks fit pretty well in the little hole that I had. And here I am just arranging some graham crackers. Those are one of Isla's favorite treats. And then I also kind of was looking through some containers up on that top shelf. So here I am again decanting a lot of our snacks. I like keeping them again in these containers because I know exactly how much we have. It's very easy for me to look and see what we have and what we don't have, so I know what I need to put on my next monthly grocery order. We usually always have Cheez-Its and Goldfish, and my husband really likes the peanut butter pretzels, as you've heard from my grocery hauls. So we usually have a container of those as well, and then we usually have a couple of other snacks, usually whatever has been on sale at Sam's Club or Costco recently. So right now it's these pretzel crisps, which I really like. They're good for dip, or they're good for cheese and crackers. And then we also have these tortilla strips that I really like to have for soups and chilies, especially this time of year. And when I was at Winco recently, I saw that they had them in the bulk bins for a better price than I was getting them at Walmart. So I stocked up on those and put them in their own container, just because Winco just had little plastic bags that you just do the twist tie on. And I knew that wouldn't keep them nice or fresh for as long. And then you also saw when I was decanting the snacks, one of the other snacks that we have right now is Chex Mix. That's one of my husband's favorites. So that was on sale, so I got a big bag of that. And again, just put it in the container so I know how much we have. And then when those get low, I look first to my back stock to see if I have any partially opened packages that I can refill those containers with. And then if I don't, then I know that the next time when the package runs out, when I'm refilling those, then I know to put those kinds of things on my list again for the next month's grocery haul. And there I was just organizing, again, my baking area. Over here, I'm working on kind of a continuation of my baking area, things that I don't reach for when I'm baking all the time, but still need to have accessible. So in this case, it's mostly baking chips. So I have butterscotch chips, a lot of mini chocolate chips, and then some like caramels, another just like baking chocolate and almond bark, those kinds of things. Again, I don't use these a ton, but I do like to have them on hand so that when I do want to bake something, I don't have to run out to the store or, not bake what I want to bake because I don't have the ingredients. So here I am kind of going through my baking canned goods. So I have like sweetened condensed milk, evaporated milk, and pumpkin. And those I kind of keep in my baking area because, again, those are things that I'm using when I'm baking, not usually when I'm making other kinds of recipes. Again, just checking the dates and the mixes that I have. I have a big stack of cake mixes, a few muffin mixes, and then a bunch of brownie mixes. Here I am checking some puffs that got lost in the back of my pantry because my daughter hadn't been eating them, and she's 1.5 now, and so she doesn't really eat them that much, but I will pull those out and get them in her snack cups so that she does start eating and going through those before they go bad. And then just moving, again, a big box of brownie mix that I got from Costco, I put in front of my other brownie mixes so that they're all together. And then just kind of finishing up some tidying things, scooching all of my boxed lunches over just so I have a little bit more space over where my canning jars are, because that's the next area that I'm going to be working on. So this fall, I did quite a bit of home canning. I live in a very small house, and so I don't actually have space for a garden, much less an orchard. So I was able to get a lot of fruit from local farms in my area, and I was able to make a couple batches of applesauce. I did a really big day of peaches, and then I also did a couple days of pears. So I was able to can all of those. I know those are all things that my family eats and likes. I like using the applesauce in baking as well. So we eat it. We also use it in baking. Peaches, my girls love eating like with their lunches or with dinner. And I also use them to make peach cobbler throughout the year, which makes them super easy because they're already halved and they're nice and soft because they've been processed. And so they're easy to slice as well when I'm making that peach cobbler. And then with pears, again, it's a fruit that I know my girls and I like that we will eat with lunches. And again, I wanted to be keeping on top of how much inventory I had of these things. My previous system wasn't really a system. I had things in my pantry, and then I had like back stocks in other areas of my house, like random areas. And so I didn't know for sure like how many of each jar that I had. So I wanted to try and get as many as I could into the pantry and then have a good system for where my back stock was. And it turns out I was able to fit all of the jars that I had canned onto that shelf. So it looks like it's bowing a little bit right now, but that's just because of the light. It's not actually bowing with the weight of those things. The shelves are very sturdy. And right now I'm just going through some pasta. I went through it not too long ago, so I know that all of my pastas are within date. And I did check my back stock to make sure I have enough of the kinds of pastas that I want and need. Over here, just organizing my canned goods, just some of the smaller cans of things that I don't keep quite as big of a back stock of because I don't use them quite as much or for as many recipes. And then again, also went through like my Ziploc container, wiped down everything, checked my back stock of like my salt and my baking soda and my cocoa powder and baking powder, those kinds of things I keep back here. just because I don't need to access them. So it's fine if they are behind other things that I access more often. Just putting my jarred pasta sauce back. We have a lot of that, so I need to plan some recipes to use some of that. And put away like my baby feeding stuff that's in the way far back. And then this one is my treat bucket, which I cleaned out, got rid of things that were expired or we didn't need. This container is empty in case I need to have an overflow of something. And then all the stuff stayed pretty much the same. I moved the bowls that were right here and got my second beverage dispenser and put it back up in here in the pantry. My cereal stayed the same. Again, just tidied it up a little bit better. Kept like my other breakfasty things. I restocked all of my snack containers, and then behind those I have like back stocks of things. So over here I have like peanut butter pretzels, and then I have a bunch of crackers over there. Over here I went through that drink container that has like hot chocolates in it and tidied through that. Tortilla chips are now right here. This is a basket just of loose, like pre-portioned snacks. So it has like chips, Teddy Grahams, trail mix, those kinds of things for snacks when we're either traveling or for my daughter when on her way home from school, or my husband to take to work. And then over here, again, I just kind of tidied things up. I still have my drink mixes down here, some salad toppings, and then snack cups for my daughters, and then raisins and trail mix right there. I have a bunch of sauces over here, extra bouillon powder back there. I have some home canned peppers, and then my great aunt made this jalapeno pepper jelly for Ben, my husband, and then I have some salsa here, and then behind that I have some home canned salsa verde. Over here I have my oils, cooking sprays. I have like balsamic vinegar and some Asian cooking stuff back there, as well as some powdered milk back there on the top, and then underneath that is some shortening that I don't use very often. Down here I have my spices. I didn't really do too much over here besides cleaning and then decanting new things. I moved like my popcorn seasonings back there because we don't use them too much. I combined the breadcrumbs that I had 2 open containers of. All of this is still the same containers. I refilled things that were empty. Over here, I cleaned things up a little bit. This blue container now has all of my food coloring and muffin cups in it, and then underneath is another container that has sprinkles and birthday candles. Over here in the back, you can kind of see my frosting materials, and then other just baking supplies. Baking chips I went through, decanted some, reorganized, took stock of what I had. I have my big thing of chocolate chips, and then like minis, and then white chocolate chips in some jars. Back in the back, I have a green basket that has peanut butters in it, as well as some pudding and some pie crusts. And then over here, if you can see it, I have some pumpkin, evaporated milk, sweetened condensed milk. Up here in the front, I have a basket where I keep the bread that we're working on. And then behind that, I have my containers of rice. And then behind that, I have boxes of muffin mixes. And then behind that, I have a stack of cake mixes that I like to just keep on hand. Here in front, I have this basket that has applesauce pouches and applesauce cups for my kids. And then up here, this is a big box of the Ghirardelli brownies from Costco. Behind that, I have a stack of just regular Betty Crocker brownie mixes. Here, all the way back, are pastaronis. And here all the way back are mac and cheeses. These are good for like my longer term food storage. We have enough of these to have it like, I don't know, definitely once a month for well over a year, but sometimes we might do it like twice a month for lunches or something. So we have a good at least 6 month stock of that. We could make it last a year. And then I moved all of my canning things that I did over here onto this shelf. So I have 2 rows of pears, 2 rows of quarts of peaches, as well as a few pints up there, and then 2 rows of quarts of applesauce, as well as some pints of applesauce. Down here I have pasta, so I have like my tall skinny pastas in here, elbow macaroni. This green basket has different bags. Behind that I have boxes of other kinds of pasta. Here I have penne. Behind it is a container for lasagna noodles. I need to get some more of those. And then behind that is just more boxes of pasta. Here are just some like quick to go soups that I don't have room for on my rollers. And then a box of ramen behind that. Over here, I didn't really do too much besides just like tidy up the surface in front and kind of took stock of the cans that I have. Again, over here is just some of like my back stock of applesauce, garlic, some gravy mixes. I have additional like spice and sauce mixes in here. Some cans down below. Some things up here. I have some store applesauce, some canned chicken, a coconut milk, some Alfredo sauce, more Alfredo sauce, and pasta sauce over here. And then over here I have like this basket that has all of my Ziploc bags in it. I have air fryer liners, some like bag gripper clip things, as well as my parchment paper. And then in this magazine rack I have like plastic wrap, foil, wax paper, and then behind all of those things I have some back stock of like salt, baking powder, baking soda, cocoa powder, to refill my canisters. And then down here on this bottom shelf, I moved out most of my appliances like you guys saw in my video last week. In here I've just put some more of my food storage. So this basket just has some dried beans in it. And then I have a bucket that has bags of powdered sugar, bags of brown sugar, and then this is filled with oats. And then I have my Instant Pot here because I still use that pretty often. So this is like the most accessible spot. And then next to it is our popcorn popper, which my husband uses quite a bit. Back there in the back. I have a Pyrex like carrying case and a crockpot carrying case, and underneath those I have some accessories for my Instant Pot that I don't use too often, but I wanted them to be somewhat close and accessible. Next to the popcorn popper, I have this big container of popcorn kernels, and then behind that I have a basket of microwave popcorn. And then I moved my big bowls that were on the top shelf. I just moved them down here so they were more accessible because my husband uses these for his popcorn, so I kind of wanted all those things to be together. So then in the back I have some empty ice cream buckets for storage. This whole section is empty, and then I have some snack containers, snack boxes that I make for my husband for his lunches. Behind that is some apple juice for my daughters. And then over here is a thing of vinegar and a thing of distilled water. I need to get a little bit more vinegar because I'm getting kind of low. So I'll put some of that over there. This basket has like extra drinks. It has extra drinks as well as some Cliff Bars for camping. This is my like paperware, paper goods basket, potatoes, snack basket for my kids. Over here I have like my longer term food storage. So I have oats, bags of rice, sugar, flour, and then the one with the pink are wheat berries. And then behind that I have some of our water storage. In here just bottles of water. And then in this rolling container back here I have Ziploc bags. So thanks for watching. Make sure that you like and subscribe if you like this video and like to see more things like it. In the next couple weeks I'm going to be doing some more cook with me's. I'm going to be doing a meal plan with me next week, I believe. So I'll see you guys next week. Bye.